is it, yes, is the revenue high? I think we adjusted that up, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did.
And then legals going from 10 to 11.5.
Yes. Well, with the increased inspection, we've had to use them a little bit more, and so it's just, and it's once again, it's something we can't go back down, but.
And then you've also got dues and subscriptions that's taken a pretty good jump. It went from approved budget of 1,300 to 6,000. I know we've spent
Right.
more than that, but it's been generally in that 2,000 ballpark. And that's what I was just.
Yeah, I don't
know what all that's used
for.
for. That's why I was asking.
I know we're a member of a lot of organizations, and we've been joining more, like the NEHA. In order for us to have our environmental accreditation, we have to be a member of a national organization, and so that is expensive. And I know we have a couple, you have to have a certain amount of years of experience in environmental health in order to qualify, and we have some that are becoming qualified, and that might be a case where we're looking to.
Greg, you transferred money in there in March. Does that ring a bell or anything? Was there something then that?
Right. That's why I was just trying to get a handle on what all you're spending out of it.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah, we turned in, maybe I.
Yeah.
Can you see if we can get 1,000 or 2 out of that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Cut legal back to 10 and the medical back to 60 and take that one, the dues and subscriptions down to 4,000.
Five?
Or at least down to 5.
Yeah, because it looks like we've spent.
You've spent over 4.
Yeah.
Take it to 5.
Yeah, 'cause
What
I'm
line is
assuming
that?
that's a yearly thing, yeah.
Kevin, what line was that?
3910.
3910, take that to 5.
Okay.
3110, take to 10. And the 2220, take it to 60.
Take 2220 to what?
To 60,000.
Craig, you did spend money looking over here for accreditation. Is that an every year thing?
Was that in the dues and subscriptions?
That was in the dues, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's,
It is an every year thing.
It's an ongoing.
yeah.
So it's 5 not going to be enough?
5 should be.
5, okay.
Should do it. Must be due in February or March.
Craig, on the revenue side, we bumped your estimate for revenue for next year with the activity like in food trucks that you described and just other regular restaurant or other food inspections. And you may have mentioned it. If you did, I'm sorry, but have you looked at fees? Have we assessed those? Are we looking to increase possibly, particularly in the food truck area?
Right, we just adjusted that in 16 perhaps, the fees, and we'll be looking at every 5 years is our plan. We are increasing our death certificates by $1, which will bring in about 75,000 more.
You're
Death
increasing what?
certificates. The death certificates are being risen because of the coroner.
Okay. Yeah, and my thought was if the food truck permit wasn't a big deal before, but now we're seeing a prevalence of them, and you're
Right.
seeing it does take a lot more time if
Yes.
we really scrutinize whether was appropriately set prior.
Right, and I think what we're doing is we're charging plan reviews for those because they don't come out. There's not a place that has, here's a food truck, it's mostly a truck and they try to modify. And so we're plan reviewing for both the commissary and that. So it should be increasing the revenues, yes.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the unit prices, not
Right.
just the volume of them, but are we charging the right amount for those given the amount of time you're spending with them?
That's something certainly.
Yeah, so if you're going to be reviewing them, that'll be good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can we go back to your medical supply line item? I know that we, Kevin's suggestion was cut it back to 60, but you've already spent 78 this year.
Yes.
And his budget was 60 for this year. Now, we charge for those, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's all
are we
reimbursed.
breaking even, or are we making a little money?
We're making money off those,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because we had the cost and the administrative fee and some other things we do collect.
So, I mean, realistically, should we put that back to 80? Because if we've already, well, now, Bob, medical supplies, we look like we're at 103,000 through August. Wow,
So-
what happened? That's a pretty good increase.
Was that the refrigerator loss?
No, we were able to save all the vaccines.
Oh, yeah, probably you're right. Probably put it back to 80.
Was there some big thing
Craig, we
that?
fully captured all of the revenue that we should have. Because we had the 420 line at 370,000, which is a significant jump from where we were budget-wise last year.
Yes.
So that's probably about as far as we dare go, isn't it?
My calculation has it almost 4. We could go almost to 4 with all the,
So maybe we put you back to 80 on the expense side, but maybe bump 20 on the revenue side.
yeah.
Did you catch that, Bob?
Got it.
Okay.
Good idea.
The hotel ordinance,
Yes.
is that expected revenue of,
We already inspect their breakfast or lunch areas and their pools. This will be a whole hotel room ordinance. It's not going to be a great moneymaker, no. I mean, unfortunately.
question?
If we charged what we needed to, we would have so much pushback that wouldn't happen, so.
What do you think, Kevin?
I think we've caught it, unless somebody else sees something that I don't see.
Okay, thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Employee? Insurance? Or is that for still the health department?
That's kind of mine. That's kind of my little deal. It's my
That's a
deal.
lot of money for
Yeah.
health department. Employee health,
Yeah, I'm trying to look for a tab.
employee insurance?
Insurance.
Yeah. A couple things here, what we did, what we had asked departments that our non-general fund is to use a 5% increase to health insurance. Whether that's necessary, I don't know, but the numbers that we reflect have the 5% in there. As you can see from this little chart here, I did update this more recently. I've got the January 1st of 17, the different types of insurance, the employees. We had 647 employees, and 102 of them didn't take the insurance at all, but if you jump over to 9/4 of 18, basically a year and a half later or so, we've gone up 13 employees. You can see that we've gone up 21 employees now have the family plan compared to what we did the beginning of 17. So we are seeing some, and you can see that across the board. We have 3 less people with not taking the insurance, 6 less people just taking the employee, and then the children and the spouse is about the same, but we've had a shift to the family. And even though, our health insurance, we haven't changed the amount that the county is putting in per employee, when you see this shift, you're still going to see increases. So what I have reflected in here is the 5% increase, 5% increase. And now I am, and this is just right, did it just for kicks and giggles, and I have no background on why I did this, But to estimate a continued shift to the general fund, like my total employees over here, this is what we are in general fund. Most employees are paid out of the general fund. So I am just kind of guessing that over the course of the next year, we're going to have a shift of 6 more people go to the family plan, 5 of them leaving the employee only. You know, I'm going to come as a net change of 0, but it's going to make a difference in there. I also have, right now, I have 18 new employees that we took 3 of them out that we had in public defender, from what Amy said, and I took 1 employee out, the one that Jennifer took away. I didn't mess with the recorder one, just simply because the one that Jennifer had, she had the family plan, where that's not the case for the one in the recorder's office. So, but anyway, so those are my 4 I took away from my 22. So right now, I'm anticipating 18 new employees is what I've got on the books right now. And with a 5% increase, that would be 7.291 million, and I've got this thing rounded up to the next 100,000. So, you know, like right now, if I make that 0, I've just cut out $300,000, and that's still with my shift and with my new employees still intact. But so that's where I'm at, and I don't know, Shirley's got some real words of wisdom that.
Always. We just got notice from our consultant Monday that he will be here next week with the numbers, but I've shared all of our other numbers besides the Anthem, so he can, you know, combine them as to the most recent, what we have as of this date, and it appears that we will not have an increase in our insurance again. So we've done very well. We do have, I have what I look at as kind of a watch list to see where we're at on the stop loss for both specific and aggregate. And we have 3 high claimants right now that are probably within 60 to 65% of that total. So we could possibly have a couple people hit that stop loss. That should not affect us for 2019 because of, by the time they hit, if they do, it'll be after the rates are set. So we may not be as lucky next year, but on the other hand, we're doing some other things with, like, the addition of Berta. We've got, I've been notified personally from several employees that they are now off insulin. So that could be a big decrease in our drug expenses. So hopefully that'll kind of all level out, and maybe we can go for another no increase year. So, any questions on any of the programs or pricing or anything?
Any questions for Shirley?
This thing on the screen, you can't see that very well. I better make it bigger. I always keep track of this on a monthly, and this is for the health insurance fund. This is not general fund. This is the whole health insurance fund. And you can see, like, right now, through August, we brought in for 2018 $6.7 million.
And my running total is right about 5.5.
Okay. And the expenditures I've got are 5.3. So in our cash balance.
I just did 2 claims.
Okay, well, darn it. So our cash balance was at $5 million, which I had on my council report. And so this is the, by month, the difference between the revenue and the expenditures in our health insurance fund. And so you can see over the course of the last 18, 17, and the second half of 16, we've had 1 negative month in all that time. And right now, we're spending 79% of the revenue that we're taking. So we do have, the trend has been more than just a trend. It's gone on for a while here. So.
I just say that with guarded optimism because it only takes one bad accident or heart attack.
Kind of like investing. This is
exactly.
not.
Exactly.
This is the facts from the past.
But overall, I'm pretty optimistic and positive about the way things are going. So.
Yeah. But it's just in my little simple mathematical mind, I would say we could increase claims by 20% and break even. So, and at this point, we're going to have to do something with what you want to do over here with the insurance as far as,
So Bob, you said if you took it to zero, it nets 300,000?
Yes.
see,
So right now in the budget packet,
It was 7.4.
yeah, it was 6 point, we were, as proposed, it was 6.5 for this year and 7.3 for
7.4,
2019.
I think the book says.
Yes.
But by taking Amy's 3 out, because that kicked that down 100,000. And now, so now if I make that 0%, I'm down to 7 million, which is still a $500,000 increase, but that
And
$500,000 coming from the
is
shift.
the new employees that we're figuring in,
Yes.
it's the best we can
Yeah,
guess.
this is the new employees and the shift.
This has all of the new employee proposals except prosecutor?
Prosecutor is included in there, because I had heard about that one, so I put them in this part, so.
Anticipation. All right.
I think this is a place we can get wisely aggressive. I mean, if you go back to your year by year, we had those 2 bad years for sure, just under $1 million, 14 and 15. But since we've been trending, I mean, I would think we could get aggressive, and if we end up hitting our 5 million, which is going to be probably way more than 5 by the end of the year, we're not going to have cost ourselves anything, and can look at it again next year. We're going to have to come up with some money somewhere.
Yeah.
When you see over the course of the last, well, 2 3/4 years, I mean, we were a negative cash balance at the end of 15, and now to be at $5 million
Right.
is
That's our rainy day.
unbelievable. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, with the rainy day, we have 8 million sitting there that,
What are you suggesting we set that at?
My thought would be that we go through our prioritization on the employees and make sure we got some settlement there and see really what our real gap is, and then maybe
Right.
start to
Use
back
that.
into this number.
you want to leave
Just
this
cut
at the
back.
5% now, or you want to do anything?
Pleasure of the council. I think we could at least make it 0.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I take it to 0,
Yeah.
and then, as you said, because there's some other things for tweaking, and we need to go back through, prioritize, and I think we need to look at a couple other departments and a couple other line items, so.
The other thing to consider is logistics, because a lot of times the younger employees, while they might be having families, they don't always have the same health issues that some of the employees who have been here a lot longer have. Demographics,
It's probably been helping us too,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
yeah. Demographics does a lot to your numbers for self-funded.
So we go to 0, that drops it to 7.
Yeah.
Yes. And that drops us to 522.
Any more thoughts?
I think that's a good spot to move into the other budgets, and then we can re-comb
Other
through it if we need to.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to, obviously.
Rollins staring at the board, so I thought maybe.
I think that's good.
Still working on it, Rollins?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, economic development, eat it, surveyor. Surveyor,
Oh, can I go back
Hang on.
real quickly to the health department?
sure. He's still here.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be up. I think we kind of messed this up, and I think we've done this before. I think that our formula included perf for the doctor, and that's not
Not supposed to be.
the case. So, just to let you know, so I'm lowering perf, that is not the doctor is not a health covered, or a perf covered position, but our formula kind of chucked it in that it was. So
Good.
there's another few thousand.
Helps a little bit.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, economic development, Edith, Surveyor, Kathy?
We have no changes in this for the surveyor.
What do we do with the 6,100 interfund transfer out? Transfer, 740,000. Got a question mark for that. Did we do something with that?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't
Not
think
to my
so, I don't
knowledge,
think
John.
so, but.
Yeah, Kathy knows, yeah.
No, I don't.
Kathy and Bob agree.
No, we didn't do anything to this one.
I just had a, maybe it was,
Was that to phase two? What was that, where was that transferring out to? Do you-
The 740?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that was the construction.
oh, okay, oh,
Yeah. That had to do with the note that I told you that I had submitted on the capital outlay, and Paula
Yeah,
was.
that one I remember.
So, yeah.
I don't know, I can't hear what she's saying, but that's all right.
the low number on culverts and drains. And then we requested 218. Are we anticipating some more? I mean, we didn't have much in the first part of the year. So 2018, we had 10,000 bucks for culverts and drains.
And, yeah, and the actual.
Yeah, now we're up to 218.
Yeah, well, that's the requested amount. What I was anticipating doing was being able to add the 218 and roll over the existing balance, John, was the anticipation.
There's over 4 million right now in that account
That's right, yeah.
that Zach usually encumbers to the next year.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Kathy?
Excuse me?
Do you have any thoughts anymore?
No, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, well, I mean, when we had our meeting, I thought we were good to go, so, yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Okay.
assumption.
Things have changed.
I'm willing to answer any questions, yeah.
Yeah.
We're cool right now.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Zach. County Commissioners.
I didn't have any notes of any changes. Did you, Kathy?
No. I think we all have, Paula passed out a packet of information to all of us yesterday.
Yes.
I'm explaining.
Okay. Mitts?
You should have gotten a cheat sheet that Paula passed out for Kent's Eat It budget.
Yes.
Not bits, no. Right? Still says
Do it.
Yeah, mitts.
Do it.
Hey, Bob, before we go too far off the commissioner side of it, under line 11, 10, 5,300, that 500,000 for the bond payment, did we figure out that's not for, we just got that for you guys, you know, we chit chat briefly about it.
that won't be, well, we're not going to have, are we going to have a bond payment in 19? I'm sure that's not going to be enough. That wouldn't be,
That's why I was asking if we're gonna have a payment next year, that's why I'm trying to figure out for sure the right amount.
we don't have that. I don't think that I've ever seen that unless there was something that was sent today that they wanted signed. I wonder if that's in there, but I would assume we'd be better off to go back and do an additional appropriation for that once we know the exact.
So before we leave that, I'm sorry, I was catching up with my paperwork. Sorry, Kent, but on the county commissioner edit, you were talking, Byers, there about the bond and loan line item?
Right.
So that would be a bond payment if we have it?
That was just an estimate we threw out there just to throw something in there. Because
Do we have a ballpark of what it might be? Okay. I mean, are we off by 100,000 or?
let me, I don't even know what this thing is. Let me look at, oh, I can't see that. They just sent this and then they want me to sign this. I don't know if that's the whole thing. I haven't seen anything, I don't think. Since they sold the bonds, I don't know that I have seen an amortization. I don't think I have seen that, but we'll look and see if we can have that, and if we
Okay.
can address it, we might as well address it now. But
And then the
we don't
43,
take it out.
the 4310 request for buildings and municipal is 1.54 million. The budget worksheet that Paula gave us yesterday, this one has it as 2.54 million. So what, but yet there's $1 million in fairgrounds renovations. Is that what came out of there to get us to 1.54? So the only additional EDIT money we'd be spending at the fairgrounds would be the potential bond payment of whatever it's going to be.
The 1.54 is 500 for the fairgrounds, 500,000 for the YMCA renovation, $500,000 for the interior courthouse renovation, $20,000 for the 88 Parks chairlift, and $20,000 for the villa re-roof and the cattle bar.
Okay. So what's the 500 at the fairgrounds besides the bond payment?
Potential buildup for phase 3.
What does that mean?
Well, phase 3, we did not finance.
Right.
So this is potentially to allow money to accumulate, so we don't have to go back to bond for potential phase 3. If we have excess cash left over from the bond to be able to pay for phase 3, this is basically to take care of phase 3.
So it's not any work being
No.
done?
No, this is accumulated, so when phase 3 hits, hopefully, we have cash to take care of that.
And does the Y reduction from $1 million to 5 get us what we want to get done at the Y?
It gets us started. That's what it does. It'll basically get the engineering put together. We'll be able to start figuring out what needs to be done. We did have one mess up on our side is that we did not budget for utilities for the Y. So we will be paying the utilities out of the Y. I mean, hopefully, basically, mothballing it in a roundabout way, so they'll come way back down. But this should get the head start going by property.
So what's our plan on the Y? When are we going to be in there?
I would say I'm yielding to Tom and Tracy on this one too. We're probably a good year and a half away from getting into the Y.
But not fully because we're not fully funding it, is what you're saying?
Basically. And we really don't know what we're.
You got that on? He's got it.
That would pass more sense than yesterday. It was Exhibit 8.
At the end of the year, I would anticipate we're gonna.
So we could really cut the, oh yeah, I'm too old to see that, right?
So I would envision utilizing what would that be, the south edge of the building.
Did you talk about spending more, getting it done, getting fully moved there, and then start banking money for the Phase 3? Well, the building, so now we got empty space. Are we going to use it? And if we use it, we could potentially part ways with the extension property or whatever. So, I mean, we're sitting on the property here that's sitting idle, yet we're banking money for a future project. So did you talk about that?
Exactly. So the goal would be to get to get the extension folks in there ASAP so that we can put that property up for sale.
Okay.
And potentially then use that money for the rest of the Y renovation. Is that what you're asking me?
I think so.
Okay.
Who else is going in the Y?
Health department and extension office.
Just those two.
As the extension.
That's all.
That's all I've ever heard. Now, just by the way, Doug pulled out the document that he had there. The bond payment for 2019 should be 200.
I think maybe it's 510,000 for 2019, because it looks like there's a 223, 528 in February, and a 287, 394. I mean, the annual debt service column kind of doesn't line up with the semi-annual debt service column from what I'm reading here, but I think it's 510,000.
What's your second one?
287, 394.
510, 922.
Okay, yeah.
That, okay, if we clock that in there at that, that should take care of us then, that.
So if when we get on the general fund and we're trying to get that number to zero, the gap closed, and we want to look at some of the moves we talked about yesterday, which I think were legal and...
Legal. We have room to do that.
Yeah, can we make room to do that?
Yeah.
And how would we make room to do that?
Right.
There's two payments there, and if you look here, they add these two numbers to get to that side.
Over here, as far as what can we do for Eat It?
Yeah.
I advertised 9 million in the official ad, and so I'm about $500,000 under that. Excuse me? And that one, I've got to lower that a little bit. It should be 8,579. Well, that's for the regular, and then you got the interest on there, so you're going to be a little bit under 9 million.
So probably prudent to be under 9.
Well, our budget has to be under 9.
Yeah. But I mean, to stay within what expected total revenue would be, it'd probably be better to stay probably.
And do you have the by fund balances, Bob, for Eat It over the years?
Yeah. So over the course of the last 10 years, it's been pretty stagnant, the cash balance, but we got a lot of things in there where we could spend. Our appropriations are not spent by a long shot each year.
And our minimum,
That's 5 million.
yeah.
But we are going to see some increases in revenue from the income tax. So 19 looks pretty good as far as, we're going to increase our expenditures too, but.
Not, if we don't just add to the planned appropriation, but we look to cut out some room to put those two line items from general into here, the replace those could come from? Sorry, buyers, I'm looking at this column.
I know Zach's sitting on 5 million.
guess we're all on, how much of a cat and mouse game do we want to play on this? What I'm,
Right.
and you guys don't have to give an answer. Are we gonna look at this public safety tax down the road?
We have
And
to.
how close it is, because that's money that theoretically could be used to do the courthouse renovation, stuff like that. So, I mean, how much, which priority you want to put in here? I mean, I did tell Kevin and Kathy they could cut $750 or whatever.
Yeah, that was the big jump.
Right.
Yes.
We can go home now.
Right.
Is there a play? Yes. I mean, if you want to consider that 500,000 there in the fairgrounds, I mean, we're going to face it now or face it later.
Yeah.
It's one way or another, if you want to classify on that part of it. If we're going to look at the potential public safety tax, okay, we're going to use that to help, A, take care of personnel first, but B, can that use to help do the courthouse remodeling on shuffling stuff in there too?
Yeah, I
So,
understand.
I mean, I think everybody should really, you feel comfortable, or the council as a whole feel comfortable.
Understood.
The 2 million we have set aside for new companies and new businesses, I mean, that should be priority number one.
Absolutely.
But they're not beating on our door as much this past year as they have in the past 2 years. Because pretty much all companies are fighting the same battle, trying to find employees. So, I mean, is there flex here, there? Yes.
What do you guys feel about the move of the 2 line items at least, even without adjusting their proposed number? That would add to the 8 point whatever you have.
Because we're, what, 8.5 something?
8.5.
Yeah.
Keeps us under the 9, still preserves our balance, which is already 10 million over the target minimum, and keeps us in good economic development standing, not touching the 2 million that we've.
What are the 2 lines you're talking about?
Right.
From general, legal, and.
Just one.
Is it just one
Just
line
the
item?
one.
I'm
It's
sorry, I thought it was
legal.
2 line
Just
items.
200,000.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was 2
But
line
it
items.
still keeps us below a comfortable level.
Yeah.
On the EDIT. I would agree. That's
Well, and
where I was gonna go back and
you're talking about cat and
dig
mouse. I
first.
mean, we're not spending the 500 for the fairgrounds, it's banked. We come up with a deed, we say, okay, we're just gonna have to go elsewhere, that if something like that would happen. We don't want to make these, we'd want to footnote that, so next year we bring that back in where it should be.
Yeah.
But if it's not going to compromise us, I think it's sound.
Why am I not finding that?
And that's something you want me to do? So is that a go ahead and do it sort of thing, or a
Suggestion.
discussion thing?
I was gonna go there first as soon as we started going back through the general fund, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to do that now, since we're in EDIT.
However you want to handle it, I was good to talk about it now.
Do it now.
Okay.
So, Ron, are you looking at the 100,000 of other professional services or the 200,000 of legal?
The 200 legal is where I was gonna go.
But I thought we talked about, that's why I had 2 line items in my mind.
That's where you had the second one, yeah. See, I didn't have that noted.
Professional services marked as a side note also.
I have other professional services, not legal.
So
And I had legal.
There's 300,000. If you do
Yeah,
one-
I had legal because Commissioner Murtaugh mentioned yesterday we could take the $200,000 from legal.
Well, You also have, I mean, other
No.
professional services, 100,000 is in there too.
But that will take us to what would be our number, Bob, if we added 300,000?
Well, but.
Well, we'd obviously be the 216 if
But
we,
we still haven't done anything with the prosecutor, so that, I mean, this is
No,
not
no,
the
no,
full
no, what
picture.
I'm saying is that where are we at 8 million what? Because what was the final number?
Be like
Oh.
8.8, I think.
If you did 300,000?
If you did 3, it'd be almost 88.50, I think, wouldn't it?
It's 8,532 now
Yeah.
Right.
on expenditures.
So it'd be 8.8.
I think you had 8.5
Correct.
million and
Yeah,
you could go up to
88.50.
9 that you
Oh.
advertised.
okay.
If we took both of those, it'd be about 88.50,
Yeah,
or 88,
8832.
88.80 almost.
You got that much left to get to 9.
Can we do that? Can we move the 3 over? Footnote it that we want to remind ourselves next year to pull that back in?
Yeah.
General.
Paula, please make note of that.
I will make sure, remember, that's why we did that last year, you guys said we would revisit and then you.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then your list on agency support that you gave us too, that matches the 2 million that's in here, that these are this is it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this contingency, and that was updated as of yesterday.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I'm zapping those two.
Just here for the coffee.
So,
And since we had donuts and stuff yesterday, you might come for that too.
so is the pot right? We're ready?
Yep.
Pot's right.
All right, Kent, sorry about the delay.
That's all right. I'm learning.
A little bit later.
Okay.
You've got the list. I think everybody's got it in front of them, or at least some of the expenditures.
Is that this one?
Biggies are obviously software and the general M&E, that was the network switches. Am I remembering correctly? Kent?
Where are you looking?
The line 4510.
4510, the
Yeah.
120,000 increase?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the network switches. When Dave Sturgeon got here in 2004, he redesigned the networks, and in 2005, we put in switches all over the county. These are the things that drive support our computer network. Those switches have served us well for 13, 14 years, but they've been end of life by Cisco. So to replace them, that's what the additional 120,000 would be. 24 new switches to replace what we've got.
I think our bottom line, Kevin, was we didn't have any changes on
No.
either of these two MITS items, right?
No, the one question I had was on down in the next section, line 3190, professional services. I had that noted as another flight. Is that right, Kent?
Correct.
Is that by chance being covered also in reassessment? Because I know there's the same amount over there. So I was just trying to find that page, and I'm not
I
finding
don't know
it.
anything about
Yeah, I know.
reassessment.
I just didn't want us to be double covering something.
That's 28.
Right, page 49.
Page 49, okay.
Yes, because Eric had that in his budget as well.
Good question.
That's 1888.
Well, that's why I was, if we can take it off of Eat It to give ourselves a little more breathing room, then we
Right.
should.
I'll ask Eric.
Okay.
I'll communicate with him if maybe, are we on YouTube currently? So if Eric is watching
Live
us, maybe
stream.
Eric could come down here and
So
we can answer the
This is
question.
paging Eric.
Yeah, the question is, how live is this? Is there some delay?
10 seconds.
About 10 seconds.
10
away.
seconds?
Okay,
Oh.
so we'll see if he's watching.
In 10 seconds, he'll know.
Do you have one
There's
of
a
those
10-second
mute
delay,
buttons
but we
in
don't
case
have a
we
dump
say
button,
something?
so don't say anything you don't want out there. We can't cut it.
Thanks for the update.
Was there anything else, Roland?
No.
Warning.
That was the main question I had.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Kent.
We could cuss for 9 seconds.
Kevin?
while we're heading into this one, just, Bob, you mentioned about the EDIT revenue increase. We've estimated 9 million here, but that would seem to be conservative.
This is the 8,579,954 is what we just received on August the 10th.
Okay.
This is the slide. I don't even see my cursor. This is the EDIT column. So that's the number that I think I'm. Oops.
So we got 8.
Yeah, we have
711.
Well, and I've now changed that because this, when I did the 8.7, I had an earlier estimate, and now they've revised their
okay.
estimate. So now I'm
it's
down to
8.5.
8,579,954. It came like the middle of August.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you said, okay.
So our 9 really ought to be adjusted down to the 8.87.
Well, no, we advertise how much maximum budget we can
Right.
have. So that's still going to be 9.
That's 9.
And so this is just on the revenue side,
Right.
you know.
But ideally, if we'd stay under the 8.87, that's going to make sure we've got balance moving forward.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will have a small little correction here if we do the health insurance at 0%, because all these kind of funds, and this one's got exactly the 5% increase, so they're like 5,000 there or something. But even when you put 300,000 in there, I haven't entered that yet, we're still having our expenditures equal our revenue for 19.
Right, that's what I was trying to get to.
Thank you.
Okay.
Employee insurance?
No changes there.
Well, and I may have a change, if we go to the 5%, I'll change the health insurance, but I'll just do that on my own.
Go to 0 on that.
Are
as
we
well.
going to?
I mean, if we've gone to that on the general side, why wouldn't we on there? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The fund revenue, I already changed it based on that new estimate. I did that already on my own, and
Clerk, clerk here? Record perpetuation?
Did we have any?
We didn't have any changes there. As you know, Chris has been working to get the paper scanned, and I think we appropriated yesterday to get that project wrapped up, and so we're close to it. So revenues will continue to come in here, and that's been the primary spend on this. So we don't have any changes, but Krista noted that going forward, we should be able to consider funding employee in some form out of the full-time employee item, being that we don't have that. I mean, there's other needs that this fund needs to support, but for 19, no changes as presented.
Do we go back to this?
to the revenue. Then I don't think there's going to be any change to any of it. So.
Is that sustainable?
Skip it.
To move
Yeah,
somebody?
there's no change.
Well, to some extent, we've got, we're projecting here 350,000 plus coming into the revenue. So it would seem that we could at least consider it. Wouldn't want to do it now yet, I don't think, give it a year to.
Okay. You good? Sales disclosure. Fund. Assessor.
And there was no changes to this.
No changes?
No.
Okay. Cume Bridge.
Stu.
Morning.
I think we just had one minor change, and it was on workers' comp needed to increase. That was line 1910 to 22,000 from 21,000.
And we also had on subscriptions, we're adding a cartograph. That's 1135, 8161, 3910. Dues and subscriptions, we have a $38,000 cartograph subscription we need to add.
So what's your total now to that? Or how much are you adding?
That adds 38,000.
In other professional?
Dues and subscriptions, 3910.
Oh, wait a minute,
I think we talked about that one.
No, I don't
I'm
remember
into the
that
wrong
one.
line.
So the 38,000 is going into 3910?
Yeah, and 3910 dues and subscriptions.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a nod, that's right?
yes.
Yes.
Now, that one, I did not advertise higher than what your request was, so if you're gonna add, you have to subtract.
The interfund transfer line, the 45,000.
But the only place we can go,
Or no, that's a number down.
6100 line probably would be.
we have to say in the 8161 to do that?
No,
Okay.
if you wanna just change the 6100 line?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Yeah, can we do that?
Sure.
Take that one down.
Last year though.
Sort the bodies out
Well,
later.
if I make that, well, I can, how about if I put 5,000 in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it come out
We're true
even,
to the good.
I think. Or 1,000 less.
We're still $100,000 under revenue, so.
And I did change your property tax, increased it
Okay.
to 2626000, based on the AV and the 3.5%, and I'm not sure if I took out for circuit breaker, but I can look at that again and see if I need to take anything out or if it's.
Okay. The cartograph is our asset management. We make sure that
Oh.
gets in there. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's all.
We're good with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because we could probably raise excise tax too,
There you go to cube cap development.
or you want to stay with, while he's up here, you want to do his other
Local road.
funds?
Yeah.
What's his
Sure.
next number? That,
Cube cap development.
no, well, which, what number, is that 11? Let's go to page 43, local road and street, while Stu's up there.
You should have a note that we were moving 50 from 3620 repair to 3720 machinery and equipment. So 3620 would go to 175 and 3720 up to 250.
Yep.
That's one of the things we talked about.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Is that it?
And do we have anything on revenue on that one?
No.
Okay.
So is that an estimate, Bob?
This is a number we got from them, and they send out a few different,
State auditor.
yeah,
sends
the
out
auditor sends
formulas.
out all these long formulas and,
Yeah,
Okay.
which we'll discuss that in MVH.
Yeah.
Going to Major Bridge then?
Major.
Major bridge.
yeah.
Okay.
Major bridge,
Page 45.
45.
Now, we've been saving up major bridges. We have 22 of them. The oldest bridge we have is Davis Ferry, the oldest major bridge, and it's in dire need. So that's the first one we're going to hit, superstructure replacement. We discussed going ahead. we won't have enough money this year, but next year we will, so we want to start some design and other services. So we're talking about adding a 3190 to Major Bridge and chucking 200,000 in there, so it would be available. Can we do that here, or is that?
I did, since I remembered that discussion from when you were in, I did advertise 250,000 in that one, so.
Oh,
Jump by
okay.
3120.
We talked about 250, that would.
Yeah.
That's fine, that's good.
You talk about 3120?
3190, it would be a new number. You
A
said
new number.
3190.
3190 for professional services, so we could start. We've already started out of Cume Bridge some studies, but we're ready to move on into design, so we'll probably want to spend out of the Major Bridge rather than Cume Bridge. Cume Bridge is always iffy.
Do you have any other bridges, majors, that are close to Davis Ferry's condition?
No, the closest thing we have is Bridge 32 out on Haggerty. That's in the tip. So it will be, we can use alternate funding on it.
What am I doing
Good.
there?
Thank you.
Okay. For Major Bridge. I think we're talking about MVH.
Highway, MVH.
Yeah. We did have a change on 3720, repair and maintenance heavy equipment. We're upping that to 250 from 204. I think we discussed that. That's a lease payment, taking out of that account. That's a $46,000 add.
250, 204?
204 to 250.
From 204 to
okay.
250.
Right.
$46,000.
Okay, I got
You
you.
can put that down though if you want.
Yeah, I can get you next. Yeah, I want to look and see
And I
what
think
we
we talked
advertised.
about that.
I don't have what I advertised. Oh, now this one here, again, I advertised what you requested, so that's going to be a little bit of an issue.
And what, you explain what's, why the increase in that area?
That's a lease payment. We're moving an equipment lease payment into there. Freighter, truck, something like that.
Yeah, that was. Stu, this engineering services under 6081, 3120, we have 350, because I'm going to have to make a cut. Can I?
Cut that one.
I'll cut it back. What do we add, 46,000?
46.
Does it have to be in that same series, Bob?
No. Just
What
has to
about
be in-
the health insurance? Doesn't that need to be cut back?
Well, but didn't.
But how
well,
much
that-
would it
a
be?
little.
Oh,
But they didn't ask for any more. That there may be a little. If there's any employee changes through 6 months, you use 333, say.
Right.
So 666. So we might be able to. I'll look at that and see if we can.
we have revisions going in there. Shirley reminded me, it came to council because we're adding a new position, fleet manager. And so we added that, and in the 2018 payroll report, we did all that. But in 2019, I guess we have to advance that forward. Right now, we know that we're going to be paying less because we're eliminating that PAT 5 and adding the PAT 4. But until we get shuffled around, we don't know the exact numbers. We have more than enough, we assume. Yeah.
Okay. We'll check this out here and.
But we will need to revise for 2019.
If that's 40 of your 48, then we're not quite so stuck with having to pull the whole thing out somewhere else. I don't know.
Because we need 46.
Oh, Mark, we'll check that.
I was saying 48. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
It's 46.
Oh, yeah, because also, I have a note about changing workers' comp
My numbers don't.
to 76.5.
Yeah. Yes.
So we had said that we were going to be able to
out of a different, we're going to pay it out of a fund.
So we don't,
So we don't need, no.
but you're going to be paying the workers' comp some out of here. I can't just cut this one out, can I?
No.
Okay, all right. Just make
I
sure.
would just, yeah, ride that, and when we figure out, when all the salaries settle, we'll get it cleaned up. I was just, so in this, there's a couple of issues in this. In the income for MVH, the projected income 5.25 million, is actually the latest numbers. There were some issues, LRS, MVH, and we've been dancing with the state auditor on projected incomes. Actually, we believe we're going to get 5.6 as a projected income, so we've got a little cushion there where we thought we were going to go negative. And where we may go negative is this year. Did you get the chart?
Oh,
That MVH PDF?
I think I did, but
Didn't expect me up here this fast.
yeah, Jeremy told me. Well,
I sent it to both of you.
I know it. When I look at my email, everybody in the world sees it. So.
That's transparency.
Yeah, there it is. I don't know if you can see that very well.
Well, I'm not sure we want to put it in the
But
budget.
what happened is the 10-cent gas tax, if you go back to, NDOT always is looking at this as 6-month increments because of their July 7th calendar year. So they'll give us an annual, January to December, but then they always revisit it at the end of their fiscal. So what I was looking at here is just the straight 6-month increments. And if you take a base period before the gas tax in January to June of 17, we received about 2.1 million, and that would be the base. In the second half of 17, they gave us about $412,000 bump as part of the gas tax. They projected out that we would be through 18, $3.2 million for each half of the year, would be 6.4. We did get the first half, the 3.2, so we're $1 million ahead of that base pre-tax. But then they turned around at mid-year and pulled us back down from 3.2 down to 2.4 for the rest of this year. It's still 280,000 above the base, but it's well below what we had budgeted for this year. Part of our budget woes going into next year is we're now projecting 2.8 per period, about $650,000 over the base, but more than about 400,000 under what we anticipated with the first bump from the gas tax. So we're having to make these adjustments. That said, this year, we've just got the August deposit, and they seem to be good on their word that they're cutting us back the second half of the year. So we've stopped paving. We do have a cash balance in MVH to cover, but as of this point, we are reconfiguring on their new projection for this year and having to bump a lot of stuff down off the list. So that's our MVH slide. Any questions about that?
So our net increase isn't very much after the
When it's
gas tax increase.
No.
right. We did get a bump first half of this year, a substantial bump. We got $1 million extra first half of this year, and that was supposed to happen. They give us annually the projections, and that was supposed to be for the entire year. But then when they gave us our 19 projection sheet, they said, and oh, by the way, the last half of this year, you're not going to get what we told you back in 17 you're going to get. Surprise. So we're having to adjust for that income.
Where's the, where, yeah.
What-
Well, the
why-
question was what happened?
Yeah.
You know, why?
Started a half hour later than the schedule.
So now the projection though for the first half, we're pretty sure, but we think we know what we're gonna get the second half, but we really can't be guaranteed anything.
Because they make that adjustment.
Right.
At the end of their fiscal year,
Right. So we don't know.
apparently, they make that adjustment for the second half, which is the start of their new year is the second half of our year that we budgeted already. We're in budget.
Right.
So that's our dilemma. If you go back in the history, it's really been pretty steady up until you hit the gas tax increase, and then all the formulas started changing, and they seem to be kind of a moving target. We're not, I mean, we've checked, not a problem here, this is a statewide issue. You want to address that?
We reached out to LTAP and to, actually AIC was a huge help in putting together a team with the Auditor's Office and State Board of Accounts. And basically what they're saying is, it is accurate, unfortunately, but they projected what the gas tax revenues were going to be. And of course, it does seem that the local share is what has taken the hit, because NDOT had commitments for the state share. So
We have no commitment.
That's the whole reason it was sold. It was just be a local.
it's hard to complain when we do have an increase in revenue, but it is disappointing, to say the least.
When the promise was
It
it's
was gonna be
local,
local.
and it's not now.
Right.
Still local, but it's not near.
Yeah, it's not nearly
yeah,
the
not
local
near
that it was
what-
supposed to be.
yes.
It is an increase in revenue, so,
Right. But it, the way it was sold was not correct in what's happened. Okay.
What we planned.
Correct.
exactly.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
the explanation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why.
Any further thing you'd like to add?
Not on MDA. Good,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, but I'll get a copy of
We done?
it.
We're done with MDH, we've got excise, the
Okay.
surtax, wheel tax, and highway project. There are no real changes in any of those, I don't believe.
What page is that?
No, there are no changes over what's
Page
published.
64.
Sorry.
All right. Does that clean you up?
Those surtax, the wheel tax, and the project fund, that's all I have, and there are no changes from what's published.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thanks, Stu.
thank you.
Why don't we, even though we were scheduled to start at 8 o'clock, we started at 8:30. Let's take a break.
Excellent idea.
That'll make
Great
Thank you.
idea, Mr. President.
We'll resume in
Donald Trump's Bible.
about 7.5 minutes after 10. Oh, jeez.
7 minutes after 10.
Hey, Stu?
The emails between me and Tina, and how she wanted to decide something.
Right, I saw that.
Decide on something.
Decide on something?
Around the chair here did be our pay agent. Does that mean that all of those proceeds go back to me?
This one here.
Yeah, because I assumed it would come to us and go to our primary bank, but now he's saying they have bidders and it's all down to all to their.
I did it, since he,
What did she
Not
say?
signed, sorry, just to sign.
Didn't she say something about missionaries?
Bank of Mellon.
We need to start banging some pants and
And Bank of Mellon are, we use for the jail lease. I know that's the same thing, but.
Project fund. Did you have anything on that?
Yeah. Hey, Bob, can you email me that?
Does the wheel tax really just bring in 125,000? Because that was a political.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That frustrates me, that
Okay.
really.
Because it was a big political shitstorm back in the day.
Don't you all work, Slayer? You all work to get the gas tax raised, and we're gonna get our grubby hands on it. It's like,
They're like, my wheel tax never went away.
the interstates or whatever.
Let's just have a wheel tax, and it'll be a huge victory for everybody.
Deposit that was incorrect. Did you adjust for our LRS revenues?
Tax and meal tax, so there's that one, and there's this one, I guess, so it's more than that.
Okay,
It's
okay,
a lot more than
1.2,
that,
yeah.
I
That's real money.
found out this morning at 8:30 that was an issue. They had deposited it into the wrong accounts.
You were copied on
I was
that.
not copied on it.
Okay, Stu knows about it.
Well, yeah, but I'm the one who does the budget. So my question is, was it reflected in our revenues?
I
Because
would
I just
imagine
found
so.
out about the.
He's been asking me all sorts of questions, and I've
Okay,
been.
well,
giving all
I just
sorts of-
asked him and he said, no, he doesn't think so. So our